psychometric testing, pre-employment reviews that you might do, psychology tests, getting yourself ready for employment with an organisation, or reviewing your team members before they come on board, or reviewing your team members while they are in your organisation. All these things are what we're going to be discussing today as we talk about our 10 most common questions in psychometric testing. We're going to be splintering off the answers to these questions. So if there is a specific question, a specific answer that's relevant to you from what we're doing here in our video stream today, then you can go back to our YouTube channel and you can pick out that exact question. I've got a couple of people helping me, madly rushing around here in the studio right now this morning. So if you are coming online to watch, I see there's a couple of people there that have joined us on YouTube. Thanks for joining us, and a couple of people on LinkedIn. So today in this video, I'm going to be breaking down some of the really simple, most commonly asked questions around psychometric testing. So if you are going for roles, if you're thinking about your next career move, or if you have a team and you're building a team, I want to talk about how psychometric testing can help you continue to grow your team, help your team members into the right position, so you can help with having some non-subjective testing and assessment. We should probably call it assessments, I guess, for people. So we've been using it here at Best Practice for a number of years. I've certainly been involved in this kind of psychometric testing for about probably the last 17 years. Now, we're not talking about personality typing as such. So you may have heard of things like DISC and those kinds of evaluations. Here we're talking about a non-subjective assessment of people's capacity, mental, physical, resilience capacity to do different types of roles in the organization. So we use, we're looking to onboard amazing people here at Best Practice. And so we look for trying to get a deeper understanding of individual people, either that are current employees or they potentially coming to join the team. And then, how we're going to be able to manage, help to manage them and onboard them. Good morning, Stan. Thanks for joining us. If you have got questions around, in pre-employment or job fit analysis or growth of your team members, then please ask. That's what we're here for. Thanks for everybody for joining us this morning. So a bunch of people there on YouTube. It really helps me a lot when I can see where you guys are watching from. So if you can go right ahead and make a comment there on YouTube, even if you're watching this after the recording, let me know where you are watching from and your organization so I can get a bit more context, and then I can customize what I'm talking about for you guys. So good morning to everybody, or hello to everybody who's joined us from different parts of the world. It's the morning here in Sydney, Australia for our live stream. So I've got some helpers, lots happening here. What I would encourage you to have a look at, if you're not already following, check out Best Practice Talent on LinkedIn. Lots of great stuff happening on the Best Practice Talent page, LinkedIn page, and the team there are doing some great stuff. Hello, Stan. I hope you're enjoying Sydney, Australia. Good morning, Melissa Knudsen. We've got the amazing Luke here in the studio, and Luke and I did a 10-kilometre walk this morning, so you'll be pleased to know. So we're going to do another 20 kilometres tomorrow. So Luke will have walked 30 kilometres by the time you get him back tomorrow. So good to have Luke's mum on the live stream this morning. So I think your mum's telling us that you forgot your lunch. So, okay. So good to have Mel. Good to have you on board. So with psychometric testing, are you guys able to zoom in on the YouTube for me? So hey, Jessica on YouTube, thanks for joining us. And this is a really great topic. We've got 10 of the most common questions. So how I've been using this more than anything recently is looking at a team analysis. So we put everybody in the Best Practice team through some psychometric testing, and that's given me some analysis. And I've actually customized and changed, no problems, Mel. I've customized and changed my leadership and a management style because of particular traits that were uncovered in our PXT. So I wasn't as effective as I could be, and we found some, by doing some research on our team members, we were able to find that we could actually go and change our leadership style and the way we present information, the way we train people to get a better result. And we're actually getting some acceleration in our team's results as a result of that. Okay, let's get into it. So I've got a helper here, and we're going to get some questions, some of the most common questions. So we're going to go through 10 of the most common questions. Go ahead.
So question 1, what is involved in a psychometric test?
Okay, question 1 is what is involved in a psychometric test. As a job fit analysis or an onboarding assessment or test. The kinds of things that are involved, particularly the ones that we use, we're looking at emotional resilience to a certain extent, which is factored from, whether the person's outgoing or whether they're a little bit conservative. We're looking at numerical ability. We're looking at vocal ability and literacy. We're looking at the depth of knowledge around the vocabulary. So, somebody who is a copywriter in marketing, for example, that writes lots of the words for the marketing team, needs a really deep vocabulary with a lot, a lot. So someone who's, well-read, done lots of reading. We're looking for, people in the finance team and the analytics team looking for a deep level of numerical ability. For somebody in my position as a leader and a manager needs to have a high level of pace. So we will look at, are you a person that has a high sense of urgency like myself? On a scale of, on the scale of 0 to 10, I sit at a number 10 for pace and sense of urgency. So it's like, come on, we've got to do this stuff. We've got to do it quickly, move really quickly. And in the middle is fine, but some roles require a high sense of urgency, and then some roles require people to be quite methodical. We're testing for whether somebody is accepting or skeptical. So are you skeptical of things you hear, or are you accepting of things you hear? I'm a very accepting, trusting person. Many of our team members, particularly the academic members of the best practice team who do the analytics kind of stuff, they trend more to being skeptical. So when I when I get up on our monthly meeting, and that's in a couple of days' time. So we've got a weekend coming up, and after the weekend we'll have our monthly all hands meeting on Monday next week. I need to make sure I'm presenting slides and evidence and graphs and data to our team, because they are skeptical of what I say. And that's not on me, that's on them. The testing has indicated that they're skeptical, and so they don't necessarily absorb what I say, so I've got to put it to them in a different format. Now we're getting better results. So I'm seeing that people are understanding what I'm saying from showing them slides and data, even though I might say it verbally and I might say it confidently, they're still skeptical. So if you've got team members that are skeptical, that's not a bad thing. It's just about you understanding that you need to actually serve them information in a way that they're going to be more happy to receive it. So the testing is, what's involved in the actual test itself, in the types of testing that we do. It's an online questionnaire. So you're just being assessed. It's not a pass or fail exercise, it's an assessment, and it could take you anything from an hour and a half to 2 hours. Cam's here in the studio. How long did it take you to do yours?
About an hour and 10 minutes.
So Cam has just done an assessment, a couple of days ago?
Oh, no, a couple of weeks ago.
Couple of weeks ago. So Cam's done one. It took him about an hour and 10 minutes. So that data is then valid for about 24 months. So I can use that data on Cam's test, and I can run different reports. I can see where Cam fits into the team. I can see where he would fit in terms of onboarding him. I know where he's got strengths and weaknesses, where I may need, higher sense of urgency or pace, but Cam performed very well through that test, and he fits very well into the marketing team and into helping us here in the studio. If I had have run him against, say, a finance role, I would have got a different result. He probably did not a very good fit for finance. In fact, he agrees he's hopeless with money. So, having that testing, that means that I can use Cam and we can work together using those different reports. I can run him against different job titles. So I can run him against like a finance role or a marketing role or a technical role, and the system will tell me his potential percentage fit for those roles. So that's what's involved. It's so it's doing an assessment. It's an online system to do that assessment, and then it spits out a whole bunch of reports, which is excellent. Next question.
Yep. So question 2, what are the benefits of psychometric testing?
Okay, the benefits of psychometric testing. What are the benefits of doing some psychometric testing? To you as an individual person, the benefit to you of doing a psychometric test is it's a non-subjective, based on psychology assessment that is going to help you bring some self-awareness to some areas that you're good and some areas that you could improve. So the benefit to you is that it's not somebody telling you that you could improve in a particular areas, because sometimes that comes with a hidden agenda or their agenda. This is a non-subjective way of doing an assessment on yourself and seeing where you could improve, and might even help you to say, well, what's the best kind of job that you could go into? So you could do your own assessment and the system's going to recommend, based on your characteristics and based on your traits, you're more likely to enjoy these different types of roles. So if you're somebody who's not quite sure what you want to do with yourself, it's a good way to find a pathway to an enjoyable career in the future, which I think is excellent. As an employer, the benefits to psychometric testing for me is a deep, non-subjective insight into individual people. It can help me with a non-subjective development plan for people. So as a manager and as a leader of a big team, it's going to help me understand all different people and explain the behaviors of different people, and it's going to give me action points. So I've got action points for each team member around areas where they're strong, so I can keep deploying them into their area of strength where they're really good. And when people are good at something and they're able to do that with capability, then they are typically on average happier in those roles. They, of course, all of us want to be challenged and want to do something different, but certainly if I push somebody into a role where they're not confident and they're not comfortable, they're not going to like it. And so people who like doing what they're doing and are good at what they're doing are more likely to perform really well. So we're going to have a happier team and we're going to have a more positive culture. So for me, it's about making sure that I'm putting the right players in the right places in the team so that they're, broadly speaking, on average, much happier. So for me, that's the most important benefit. I want my team to be happy and enjoy doing the work they're doing. I can teach people to love the work that they're doing, but I also want to make sure I put people in the right seats, and it's not just based on an opinion that's in my head. Okay, next question.
Question 3, what is a psychometric test example?
So question 3, one of the most common questions on Google about psychometric testing is what is one of the most common, that was the question, wasn't it?
What is an example?
Oh, an example,
Yeah.
sorry. So an example of a psychometric test would be a test like PXT Select. That's the product that we use, or it could be a personality psychometric test like DISC. There's also some testing that we've used in the past, which is a psychologist-driven test. So it's an interview with a psychologist. So they're different examples of psychometric testing. The founding, I guess, career that is this area it's called industrial psychology. So it's not personal psychology, it's industrial psychology. So you're looking at organizational behavior and the behaviors of people in teams at work as opposed to at home. So it's not like having a shrink as such, so you don't need to worry about it. It's just the ultimate objective of psychometric testing is to get high performance out of team members by getting them to do things they're good at and getting them into the right role where they've got the most likelihood for success. If we can set people up for success, then that's a really good thing. And that's one of my goals is to set people up for success. So some examples, we use PXT here at Best Practice, and that is a Wiley product, which is absolutely excellent. And so is DISC. That comes from Wiley as well, but there's distinct differences. DISC is a bit more of a personality typing. How do we get team members to work together? And they talk about the 5 dysfunctions of a team. That's a great book, by the way. 5 dysfunctions of a team. If you haven't read that, that's worth looking at. So DISC is about like getting team members to work more effectively together. The PXT Select product, the psychometric testing we do, is looking more directly at the individual and then how an individual is going to fit into a team. Okay, next question.
Yep. Question 4. How do I prepare for a psychometric test?
Hey, this is a really good one. How do you prepare for a psychometric test? If you've been asked to do one, and Cam has just recently done one here for us at Best Practice, how do you prepare? I think it's a good thing to do when you're not fatigued. So it's not the kind of thing to do, late at night when you've rushed home and you've been to the gym or you've been out, had a few drinks. You don't want to do your test under the influence of alcohol. So you want to be well rested, not hungry, not needing to go to the bathroom, those kinds of things. So setting yourself up to sit down in a quiet place to just be thinking about yourself and answering honestly the questions. It's not a test, it's an assessment to work out the best place to put you on a team. So it's not something you want to cheat. I cheated on mine to see if I could break the system. So I had an iPad open and I was actually getting answers from Google. And so I've got incorrect data. And so now the testing, the reports won't work properly. So I need to go back in and update that test. But I was testing the system and playing with the system to see what results it got. So it is something that it magnified areas that are incorrect about my profile, and then I don't sit properly in the team report. And it's confusing for anyone who's working around me if they were to read that report. So to prepare for the test, well rested, you've had something to eat, you've had something to drink, you're hydrated, you're in a quiet, relaxed environment, and you can get on and you can read the questions. It's not something to be nervous about. It's about the people that have asked you to do the test having you set up so that they can set you up for success, which I think which is an excellent objective. People can, the alternative to doing psychometric testing and being asked to do one is not doing one. So doing psychometric testing is best practice, and it is best practice in recruitment and employment and onboarding and maintenance of people. And if you are not doing psychometric testing and the organization's not doing psychometric testing, then the managers are guessing. And that is my biggest concern. I don't want to be guessing about someone. I don't want to have my bias and my paradigms and my beliefs and my values influence my ability to actually get the most out of someone and set them up properly. So I have to work pretty hard to, if I don't like somebody, and even if I don't make that public knowledge, I just think in my head, this person's not my kind of person, then that's going to bias, any development or performance review. So this is really good, unbiased, non-subjective way to actually set people up for success in their role. Next question.
Question 5, can you fail a psychometric test?
So question 5 is, can you fail a psychometric test? No, you can't fail a psychometric test. A psychometric test is something that's an assessment, again, just to repeat that, setting yourself up for success. It's definitely something that you want to be, thinking about how you can actually, achieve your role, but there's no pass or fail. Of course, the test may reveal you're not a very good fit for a job. And sometimes people are like, but I really need this job. Well, yes, I get you really need the job, but you're going to be very unhappy. And so it's a balance between needing the money and being very unhappy. And so if you don't do any psychometric testing, you could end up in a role that you absolutely hate. And so it's not something to worry about. It's something to be excited by, because it's like, actually, rather than asking someone's opinion, the system's going to determine whether you're going to be a good fit for that role. Good question.
Question 6, why do employers use psychometric tests?
Okay, question 6 is, why do employers use psychometric tests? As an employer, I use psychometric tests to assess whether I'm going to get that really good fit for someone's role, for someone in a role. It's going to give me a really in-depth opportunity to build an onboarding plan and an induction plan, and then also like a 3-month plan for an individual that's starting in an organization. And so I can use the results of the test to actually focus in on areas of strength and focus in on areas of weakness, so I can set someone up for success. The other thing that it's going to do, so we rolled out the psychometric testing for the whole of the full-time employees here at Best Practice, and we use that as part of the annual performance review system, and it gives us that non-subjective approach to help people with what do they want to work on over the next 12 months. So that's why we use it. I think it's a great investment. For example, a test could cost anywhere from $400 to $600 US dollars, and you're doing that every 2 years. But it can help you to just really focus your investment in that person. So you're going to invest time in training and developing people. You can use this to actually make sure you're focusing and aiming in the right place with your investment in developing people. Next question.
Question 7, what are the different psychometric tools?
Okay, the questions are, what are the different psychometric tools? What we're looking at is a psychometric tool is obviously, you can use a testing product, so an online testing system. You can use a psychologist. You can use reading and self-development. You can use self-awareness. So there's a bunch of different tools. The different tools we've used here at Best Practice from time to time, I've mentioned already, obviously. We've used DISC from time to time. We've used psychologists from time to time. We've used PXT. But you've got human tools, and you've got obviously software tools, and you've got hard questionnaire tools. So, and then it's independently done or self-paced. So in terms of the different types of tools, you can go and have a look and do some Googling around the different things you'd like to do. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to get a gauge on someone's mindset. Are they an optimist or a pessimist? Are they is this glass half full or is this glass half empty? So we want to think about, we're looking, are they pessimist or optimist? We're trying to, broadly speaking, we're trying to assess a cultural fit. And so the different tools are going to give us different benefits, but ultimately what we're doing is trying to actually get the most out of someone and get a good return on our investment of salary and wages. And so we want obviously people to be happy, want them to be enjoying working, and then as a business, then we still have to be mindful of, we want to get a good return on investment. Okay.
Question 8. What are the disadvantages of psychometric testing?
What are the disadvantages? Great question, actually. What are the disadvantages of psychometric testing? It creates anxiety in someone before they go for the test because they're going to worry whether they're going to pass or fail. It creates negativity around the results, particularly if somebody really wants a job and we put them through the psychometric testing and it says, actually, computer says no. You know, we say that a lot here at Best Practice. We say, computer says no. So, you know, sometimes I'm a very trusting person and I want to just employ everybody and bring everybody on the team. And so it can be disappointing. So, you know, one of the disadvantages is it can create disappointment. It can create anxiety. It can create bureaucracy. You know, some people might say, I'm not going to do psychometric testing, slows us down. So, you know, those are the kinds of things that, you know, I want you to be aware of and you want to address that up front. And if you're going to ask someone to go for a test or if you are going to go for a test, then really be asking yourself your question, how's this making me feel? It really should be, it's something to get excited about and it's something to look forward to because it's going to give you an insight in how you can improve in your career. That's a great question.
Question 9. Are psychometric tests accurate?
Okay, question 9. Are psychometric tests accurate? Psychometric tests are only accurate if you answer the questions honestly with sort of your first answer. Yes, you can ponder and think about them. The psychometric testing that we use here is at Best Practice is demand driven, and it increases in complexity the more accurate your answers are because ultimately, you know, it's also got a measurement of IQ, your intellectual capacity. So over time, it will actually, you know, get harder and get more complex. So you have to answer it honestly, and you have to answer it as accurately as you possibly can. Then the results will be accurate. If you do what I did when I was trying to break the system, I had an iPad open and there was particular words coming up and it said, you know, what's the meaning of this word? And for the words I didn't know the answer to, I Googled them and wrote in the result. And then it gave me an even harder word. And then I Googled it, wrote in the result. An even harder word, I Googled it, wrote in the result. And so that gave an inaccurate assessment of me and my capacity in my role. And it, you know, essentially broke the system. So my reports were inaccurate. So I want you to just be honest and excited about seeing the report because it gives you an opportunity to, you know, identify, bring some self-awareness to areas that you can improve, and also bring some self-awareness to non-subjective self-awareness to areas where you're strong. That's a great question.
Question 10. What is a good psychometric test score?
So last question, final question in the questions of 10. And if you guys have got questions, now's the time to type them in the comments. So please go right ahead. And if you have got comments, if this has been useful, please type that in the comments and I'll get to this final question. There is a little bit of a lag. So while I'm answering it, you guys can start commenting and letting me know. Those of you that have just come on, let me know where you are watching from. Very relevant, obviously, to the people on LinkedIn. Alexi, good to have you this morning. Claire, good to have you this morning. Subas, good to have you there on LinkedIn this morning. And obviously, thanks for joining us, everybody that's still watching. So if you have got questions or comments or thoughts, how much does it cost? You know, those kinds of things, then please ask. Last one is, what's a good psychometric test score? There's no good or bad psychometric test score. The system that we use gives a percentage fit for the role, and we're looking for people with high percentage fits for the specific roles we're looking for. So if at the moment we've got some roles advertised, we're putting through people through psychometric testing, and then we're saying, okay, what's their potential fit for the role? I can honestly say I've had some excellent candidates come in for roles in the last 12 months. They've had very high percentage fit for the roles. They are doing very well. They accelerated very quickly through the recruitment process. They've accelerated very quickly through their first month and then their second month and their third month onboarding, and they're working out to be very, very good people. And one of the most common questions I get asked as a business owner is, how do you find good people? Well, I make sure I don't skip this step. Yesterday in the live stream, we talked about the 10 steps in my winning formula for recruitment. That's a guide that you can download for free from our website. You just go to bestpractice.biz/guides and you can download the winning formula for recruitment, and you can see where psychometric testing sits in the best practice process for onboarding, you know, finding, attracting and bringing on board great people. So I can honestly say it's also helping us fail quickly. So where we have hired people that are maybe not, you know, the ideal fit for the role from a percentage perspective, but we've hired them, then, you know, we can also see actually this person isn't working out, and we can basically, you know, with the probation period, we can, you know, be very, very intentional through the probation period and say, hey, look, we're going to you haven't passed your probation, and it's not for, you've done something wrong. It's that you're not going to be a very good long-term fit for this role. And so we can fail quickly and we can move on, and we can keep looking for a better player for that position on our team. So what is a good psychometric test score? No score is a good or bad score. You want to know, are you a good fit for the role that's being discussed, or what are the things that you can work on into the future? Sometimes it'll tell you things that you're not, super keen to hear, and it can be quite confronting. But I think that's a good thing, because then you're not blaming a person, you're blaming yourself, because it's your answers to the questions. So there's no score that's good or bad, which is excellent. They've all been excellent questions. Anything come up from you guys while I've been talking? No questions. Hello in Sweden. Thanks for joining us there on YouTube. Good to have you guys on board. Global audience once again. So for those of you, so those are the top 10 common psychometric testing questions. The team here in the studio are going to go and edit this video. So we'll leave this video here live for you to come back to. We're going to leave this recording here on the YouTube channel and on my LinkedIn page. The team are going to go through and splinter out all those questions. So if there were specific questions and you want to circulate that with your team at work, and I would ask you to do this with your team, the people that you work with. This is a great discussion. How could you use, and maybe you can answer that here, how could you use psychometric testing to more effectively increase the performance and the outcomes and the results of your team in your organization? Jessica would love to chat about how this can work in big organizations with big teams onshore and offshore. So Jessica, this is an absolutely fantastic product for that, because you can get a massive team report, and it can start to look at, you can break it down into groups. So you can pick people and you say, right, that's one, teams of, yes, we've got really big teams, but we might have a really big team, but it's broken into small teams. And so we can work out how those teams can work together. And more importantly, when you're talking in the larger the organization, the more opportunity you've got to move people around. We've been doing a lot of repositioning of people in organizations using this testing, which has been absolutely fantastic. So we've been able to go through and we've been able to say, okay, we've got some individual people who are excellent, and we want to retain their knowledge in the organization, but we're going to start restructuring their roles, and we're going to put in some responsibilities and pull out some responsibilities. So it's a really effective tool in restructuring. It's a really effective tool in helping people with obviously a bunch of different languages, and so you can go through that process, and you can actually start to get better performance by, when you're creating roles and when you're structuring roles, we don't often spend a lot of time consciously thinking about the characteristics and the traits we need for those roles. We can come up with generic roles and just copy paste job descriptions. So Jessica, it's been an absolutely great opportunity for us to look at how we can actually restructure, and we can move people around inside an organization just by making a couple of subtle changes to their roles. The sort of raw way that we've been doing that is also to ask individual people in their reviews, what's one thing you want to do less of, and what's one thing, if I can take one thing away from you, what would you like to do more of? And so what the psychometric testing does is actually help us with an overlay to say, actually, the system says we should push them in a particular direction to develop them and develop their career. And then we want to hear, then we listen out to see if they already know that subconsciously when we're having a conversation. So it's a great way to sort of complement that ongoing, super high touch, super one-on-one, personal development, professional development, mentoring process. So Jessica, if you'd like to, we can organise just a quick Zoom call and with Kelly John Woods, who runs the system here, and myself, and we can do some demonstrations of some of the great reports that you can pull out, and we can have a look at how that could potentially help your team. Any other questions? It's pretty quiet out there this morning. We always like to keep our Thursday live streams nice and short and sweet. It's been about 30 minutes, so I hope you've all enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments what's been your favorite part. What's your takeaway? What's the one thing that you've taken away from this as I teach you a little bit more about psychometric testing? I've got a good question for you guys. What would one benefit be to using psychometric testing in your team? For all of the team members that you've got around you, Do you think the investment in psychometric testing would help your organization? Do you think getting some deeper insights into team players in your organization could help your organization battle the challenges through 2021? I certainly think so. It's definitely helping us. So we look at that team report and it's helping us to coach people through the team. So that's a question for you guys. Do you think psychometric testing might help you guys as you go through 2021? Okay. Question for you guys. If you are an Instagram user, go and check out Best Practice Talent on Instagram. They've got some great stuff happening. That is the talent, psychometric testing, recruitment part of the Best Practice group here. It's an excellent page. Joe Dixon is here in the office right now downstairs doing some interviews. Kelly John Woods is here in the office doing some stuff. The Best Practice talent team is all about best practice with people. The cool things about best practice here is we work in people, data, and process. So yes, we can do lots of process improvement, but we are also super keen to work with people so that people really love their jobs, really love working, doing the jobs they're doing, and are doing, are furthering themselves, furthering the worthy cause in a career that they love to go to work every day. So that's what I'm really passionate about here at Best Practice, and that's what the Best Practice talent business is doing, part of our great group of companies here at Best Practice. If you haven't already got it, go to bestpractice.biz/guides, GUIDES, and grab yourself a free copy of the winning formula for recruitment. It's right there for free to download right now from our website. And that talks about our winning formula for recruitment in terms of the steps and where psychometric testing fits into the recruitment stages. We're going to be developing some guides for professional development for people and developing your team members over the Christmas period. We've got lots more stuff coming out on the Best Practice website. If you haven't already checked it out, Alexi Folson, who's on the feed there up on YouTube, is helping writing amazing articles every day on the Best Practice news feed. So if you go to bestpractice.biz, that's this website right here, bestpractice.biz, and check out the very first tab, which is the news feed. That's the business news feed with lots of great stuff coming out on that every single day, about 3 articles. So go check out Best Practice Talent on Instagram and everything that's going on there. If you are watching on YouTube and you haven't already followed me on LinkedIn, Kobe Simmet is my handle on LinkedIn. Jump across onto LinkedIn, go and find my profile, hit the follow button so you get lots of our updates, and obviously the LinkedIn live feed. So if you're not on LinkedIn, please jump across and set yourself up with an account and get that going. And that's the best way to message me. I'm always open for questions, setting up Zoom meetings if you want to have a chat or just a 15-minute, you've got some questions you don't want to talk about publicly. Sending me a direct message on LinkedIn is the best way to get to me. So if you don't see me on LinkedIn or Instagram, or you don't see me on Facebook, and you definitely don't see me on Twitter, you will next week definitely see me live right here next time on Best Practice TV. Bye for now.